Welcome back to Chasing the Wild Wonder. Glad you are here today. We're going to be talking about our go-to, trusted, favorite water purifier, the AquaTru. The AquaTru is a countertop reverse osmosis water purification system. That's quite a handful. We just call it the AquaTru for short. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a full breakdown and a full review of the AquaTru, why we love it, how we use it, how it works, what it comes with, the price range, why you need it over other filters that are out on the market, why we believe that this is the best one out on the market. And if you stick around to the end of the video, you're going to get an exclusive 10% off code when you purchase the AquaTru. Plus, we've also created some nice little bundles that you can save even more money. But for now, let's get started. If you found this video and you're watching, then you might already be in the market for a water filter and you're just trying to get a good idea of what's going on. Or maybe this is your first introduction, I don't know. But I'm not gonna go too deeply into the current state of why we even need to have top of the line water purification these days, because I think we all pretty much know that our water is contaminated from industrial practices, from industrial agriculture to pharmaceuticals. People putting their drugs down the drain ends up in our drinking water. Glyphosate, which is a toxic herbicide that gets sprayed on crops, and it's found in Roundup weed killer, and so people are spraying it in their front yards and gets washed down the storm drain, and then that gets recycled into the water treatment plants and sent back to us. And you know, unfortunately, when they treat the water, that doesn't get removed. It ends up back in our tap water. In fact, there was a recent study done that showed that 66 out of 70 streams or rivers in the US that were tested had glyphosate in them. So this is a big prevailing problem throughout the world, and we are paying the price if we're drinking this water. So if you're anything like me, for years, I didn't give much thought at all to that my water could be contaminated. I thought if it looks clean and it tastes clean, then it must be clean. But I couldn't be farther from the truth, because so many of these contaminants are invisible and odorless and really undetectable from any of our senses. And so we might be drinking something thinking that it tastes good and looks good and we're feeling refreshed, but we're actually slowly poisoning ourselves. So the Environmental Working Group has a great website where you can go and check to see your tap water, because the municipalities, the governments, they're required to test the water periodically to see what contaminants are found in the water. So you can actually go to the ewg.org/tapwater and see and find your local municipality and see what kind of contaminants are found in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and come over here to my iPad, and we're gonna put in our zip code. And again, we are at ewg.org/tapwater, and we're gonna hit go. And then it pulls up a list of the local utilities. We're kind of out in the country where we're at, but let's just go ahead and say city of Kuna, because that's a close city. And okay, here we go. So city of Kuna, contaminants detected, 19 total contaminants, but 9 of them exceed the EWG health guidelines. There's 19 total contaminants, so let's scroll down and find out what exactly these are. All right, arsenic, first one. I think we all know what arsenic is. And you know, it says right here, potential effects cancer. And this is 1,483 times higher than the EWG's health guideline. That is pretty crazy. So lots of arsenic in the water. Chromium, potential effect cancer, 37 times higher. Haloacetic acids. We got radium, which is like a radiation waste product. We got trihalomethanes. Now, trihalomethanes are definitely a very critical one that you want to get out of your water, because those are definitely carcinogenic and very potent as well. We got nitrates, uranium, another radiation, nitrate, nitrites. So obviously lots of contaminants. So definitely recommend go use this website and see what is being found in your local water. And I guarantee you will probably be surprised, and you will definitely want to run out and get a filter that works. So now that we know what contaminants are being found in our tap water, now you might think like, okay, I'm gonna run out and get a Brita filter or something that down at Walmart and grab one of those things. Well, unfortunately, I would love for those to work, but they just don't. At best, they remove the hard water, maybe soften the water a little bit, remove a lot of the minerals, maybe some of the chlorine, and then your water, you know, some of those more easy to remove contaminants, the ones that have odor like chlorine, and they make your water taste better, and you know, they might reduce the contaminants a little bit, but they're really not doing anything. And that's because these contaminants, they actually need time to sit with the filter. If you're using an activated carbon filter like most of these filters like Brita use, or even a filter that's built into your refrigerator, those just aren't going to cut it when they're removing these heavier chemicals, these more dangerous chemicals. You can get chlorine out because chlorine doesn't take too long. It takes like 1 to 3 seconds, I think, of contact time through an activated carbon filter to remove it. And so that's why you'll notice like, oh, the chlorine taste is gone and now my water is clean. But again, there's so many odorless contaminants that you just wouldn't know. You got heavy metals, you got herbicides, you got pharmaceutical drugs, you got glyphosate, we got trihalomethanes and all these things what we just saw on that list. So unfortunately, there's so many water filters out there on the market that you can go buy, and they're just, you know, on the shelf. They're these cheap filters that we think are cleaning our water, but they're just not. You got to do your research and figure this out, because it's I don't want you guys wasting your money on these things thinking that you're getting clean water when you're really not. There's been lots of tests done comparing these things, and so you can find those online. I'm not going to do it here. I might do it in the future. But there's plenty of stuff out there, and those water sample test kits are so expensive. That's really just not worth my time. What you need is a good reverse osmosis filter. Now, reverse osmosis has been around for a while. It's what AquaTru uses, and they use a 4-stage reverse osmosis process. So there's actually 3 filters in here, and we could pop this open to see. So we got our 3 filters here. We got our pre-filter as well as our carbon filter built into this one right here. So this is what removes all the rust, sediment, things like that, the bigger stuff. And then it'll remove the, you know, this is more of like the regular filter that you're gonna find in say like a Brita or refrigerator. Removes the bigger stuff, removes the chlorine, all that kind of stuff. Then we got the reverse osmosis membrane. And this basically works by, it's just a membrane that is full of tiny holes, and it pushes it somehow. I'm going to butcher this because I don't really know exactly how it works, but all I know is that there's a membrane in there with really tiny holes, and it somehow pushes the water through that, and only the water molecules can fit through these holes that are so small, and then it backwashes the rest of the contaminants back into the tap water tank. And then you have your VOC carbon filter, which this filters out more of the gaseous contaminants, is what I heard. Is the VOC stands for volatile organic compounds. So these are the more gaseous things, like I believe trihalomethanes, things like that. So we got a 4-stage filter process, so it's really doing a lot. And then it works and it stays efficient by backwashing the contaminants out and back into the tap water tank. Now, the AquaTru has developed some technology and really got reverse osmosis dialed in to be way more efficient, because I've heard that older reverse osmosis systems would take 4 gallons of water to make 1 gallon of purified water, while this is 1 gallon of water for 3/4 of a gallon of purified water. So you get about 75% of the water purified, while the rest is what we consider wastewater. So how the AquaTru works and how you use it in your everyday life is basically you have this rear tank here, and don't mind it looks a little dirty because it's got hard water stains on it. But you put your tap water in here and you stick it in the back here, and as soon as you put it on, when it's plugged in, it'll kick on and it'll start filtering the water, and then it deposits it here in the pure water tank in front. And then, you know, you can fill up at the front of the tank, and it makes it really convenient. All right, so when you order your AquaTru, this is pretty much everything that comes with it, minus the power cord. I don't have that with me right now, but you get 4, comes with all your filters that you need, and actually comes with 2 of the first, second stage filter, because this one you replace about every 6 months. And the other two last a year to 2 years. And it depends on how much you're using your AquaTru. And we have used it quite a bit and haven't had to replace too much yet. So we really love our AquaTru. Again, we use it every day. We make sure if we go on a trip where we're going to be gone for a long time, we fill up an extra water bottle with our AquaTru, because we don't want to have to, you know, get water from a restaurant. We don't want to have to buy water bottles from a gas station, because unless we're buying, unless they have this Mountain Valley spring water, we pretty much don't buy it, because it's all contaminated anyway. If you're having a water bottle that's been sitting in plastic, the plastic has leached into the water, and you're getting BPAs, or getting BPSs, or you're getting PFASs.
What about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
Lots of other different chemicals. I know a lot of water bottles these days say they're BPA free, but there still is other contaminants in water and plastic that aren't healthy. Pretty much everything. I just try to avoid plastic altogether, and we'll talk about that in a minute with the AquaTru. Like I said, we just try to fill up. We have our Yetis, and we have a 64 ounce big boy hydro flask that we'll fill up. Have that extra on the side so we can refill our water bottles with that. And so obviously with us living the RV life, you might think like, wow, that's really big, and I don't know if I have space for that in my RV, but honestly, it's been perfectly fine. It hasn't been a problem. It's been very convenient, very easy to use, and you know, honestly, we just love it. We love having it because we know that our water is clean, and anywhere we go, anywhere we travel, we know that we don't have to worry about the water that we're having. We still have our filters on the outside of the RV that is filtering the water that's coming in for the sink or the shower. But then anything that we use for drinking or cooking, it goes through the AquaTru. And we even rinse off our vegetables or our fruits or whatever. We rinse off all our food with the purified water, because you know, we just know that those filters out there are not going to remove anything. And so anything that we're consuming goes through the AquaTru. Now, if you're in a house and you've been thinking about reverse osmosis, the countertop option is still the best option in my opinion, instead of doing the under sink installs that, you know, where you build in and you have a little faucet of RO water. Because what a lot of people say, and a lot of the experts they mention, is that when you install the filters and the tank underneath the sink, because reverse osmosis, this thing takes about 10 to 15 minutes to filter a gallon of water. And so you can't just have on-demand reverse osmosis. So you have to install, if you do the under the sink ones, you have to install a tank, because it has to filter the water and fill up the tank. And then from there, you pump the tank out, and that's where you get your water from. Well, that water in the tank is then sitting under your sink. It's a cold, damp area. It's dark. Bacteria, mold, it's a perfect environment for them. And so they have actually found that those tanks can become contaminated with bacteria or mold or different things like that. And then you end up getting sick anyway. So it's much better, more ideal to have a countertop system, because it's out in the open, it's out in the sunlight, you know, you're continually cleaning it, you're keeping it clean, and it's getting, you know, airflow, it's not staying damp, it's getting dry. So think about that before you go for the any under sink version. Okay, so I want to talk about the con. That's right, there's only one con that I have for this unit, and that's that the tanks are made out of plastic. Now, they are BPA, BPS free, and like I said earlier, that's great, but it's still plastic. And I get it, because it keeps the unit lightweight. If it was glass, this would be a lot heavier. Definitely keep the tap water tank plastic, because that's going to get filtered anyway. Maybe make the pure water tank glass. That would be nice. That would be a great option. Since we don't have that, what we like to do, and this actually is great for two things. We like to just, once this tank is filled, we kind of empty it out and just make sure that we have all these glass bottles filled with our purified water. And then we're keeping it in glass, and it's not sitting in the tank of plastic, leaching in plastic or anything like that, especially if, you know, sunlight does go through it, because sunlight does tend to break down plastic and it gets into your water. So that's what we do, and we love that because it just keeps plenty of purified water on hand. Like I said, this takes about 10 to 15 minutes to filter. So if you're thirsty and you happen to run out of water, you're gonna have to wait 10 to 15 minutes to get any water once this is all filled up. So that's great because we just like to have lots of extra water on hand. We all drink plenty of water throughout the day. So that's how we kind of get around that plastic con there. But other than that, it keeps it lightweight and makes it easy to use. If you drop the thing, it's less likely to break. That's the only thing that I really don't like about it. Other than that, I mean, this thing has been great. Like I said, it's super easy to use, super convenient, and easy to stay clean, easy to change the filters. So what I love about AquaTru is their transparency, because they have provided on their website the third-party testing that they had done with the water that was filtered out of the AquaTru, and tested it before it was filtered and after it was filtered, and showed the contaminants and how much the contaminants were removed. So we're just going to go over that really quick and highlight a few of the bigger contaminants that it was able to remove. Okay, so if we look here, we got the AquaTru Water Quality Platinum Seal. AquaTru is tested and certified by IAPMO according to NSF and ANSI standards. So let's just go down here really quick, and we're just going to kind of scan through. Obviously there's a lot of chemicals on here. A lot of them I can't even pronounce or know what they are. Just glad that they are gone, with a minimum reduction of 99%, 98%, 99, 99, 99, 98. So very good results on these chemicals. Okay, so one here we have highlighted is the trihalomethanes, which is, we got chloroform, bromoform, chlorodibromethane. Hard to say, but anyway, we got a minimum reduction of those at 95%. So that's the minimum reduction. Trihalomethanes, very carcinogenic, very dangerous. You can go look up and learn more about them. But they get into our water through part of the water treatment process. We got barium, which is a heavy metal. We got a 96.4% minimum or average reduction. Minimum reduction was 88%. Hexavalent chromium, 97.2%. Copper, cis. All right, so here we got fluoride, 93.5% reduction, which is huge. I mean, all of these, most of these reduction rates are in the 90s or the high 90s. So that's really good, because these things, I mean, it's hard to separate anything from water, right? I mean, when something dissolves in water, it's like really tiny particles, and they're leached onto the water molecules. We got lead, radium, selenium. So average reductions of, 93%, 99.1%. So all really good. Here's a whole nother list of substances: ibuprofen, bisphenol A, which is that BPA in plastic. You got a 99% reduction. So really good stuff, really good test. I'm really happy with that. And then they did another test, which on one specific contaminant, which is very prominent in today's world, glyphosate, which is an herbicide found in Roundup, and it's sprayed on so many crops in agriculture and so many things, like I was saying, that it's found its way into our water cycle. And so they did this test here with the Health Research Institute, and they put glyphosate in water, tested it. They put 1 nanogram per milliliter of glyphosate, and then they tested it afterwards, and it was not detected at all. So they put 99% plus reduction rate, but it says not detected. So they removed the glyphosate completely. So that is really good, because glyphosate is a harmful chemical that is linked with cancer, leaky gut syndrome, endocrine disruption, depression, lots of nasty stuff. And we want that out of our water and out of our bodies for good. So really cool. I love that they provide those results on their website, because you know what? If you can't back up your stuff, then you don't deserve my business. And I love the transparency, and unlike a lot of other companies, they're not afraid to show their results. So when you're using a reverse osmosis system and you're trying to get rid of all of those chemicals, you're going to get rid of anything else in the water too, and you're basically purifying the water. And you're taking out any minerals and any other stuff in it besides H2O, right? So you need to remineralize your water, because when you drink water, it's mineralized. I mean, that's part of the hydration process. You got electrolytes, you got essential trace elements and minerals in your water that you want to have in there. And the reason you want to have it in there is because, one, those minerals are good for you. Also, if you're not drinking mineralized water, either just, if you're drinking fully distilled or RO'd, basically if you're drinking pure H2O, then what's going to happen is it's going to dissolve and attach to the minerals that are inside your body and actually bring them out with you when you pee. So you're actually going to end up stripping the minerals out of your body faster than normal. And so you don't want to do that because you want your minerals. Minerals are very important for health and vitality and life. And so you want to add minerals back in. And so there's two ways that we do that. And number one, we recommend is ketone marine plasma. Now, this is something that we could have a whole nother episode on this, because this stuff, you guys, is amazing. It is a seawater formula that's got basically the entire periodic table on it in the same ratio, the perfect ratio as our blood. And so if you look at our blood, all the minerals and contents of our blood, this pretty much matches it. In fact, they did tests with this where they completely replaced the blood of sick dogs. They had some sick dogs, I think they had like cancers or different things like that. They completely removed the blood of the dog, completely out, absolutely no blood left, replaced it with ketone marine plasma. The dog sparked back to life, healed completely, had no more health problems. So this kind of stuff, this is the stuff that is going to be perfect for your health and vitality. So if you need to remineralize your water, this is the stuff you're going to want to do it with. And in fact, I just take shots of this stuff. So what I got here is the quintessential optimum mineralization sachets, and it comes with one of these. So you can just take one of these, pour it into your water once out of the AquaTru, and you're good to go. If you're first getting used to it, it might be a little bit salty depending on how much water you have in there, but you get used to it and actually start to crave it, and it doesn't really taste that salty at all. I won't go into too much depth about this, and again, maybe we'll talk about this later, but guys, this stuff is amazing, and I highly recommend this. I mean, even if you're not going to be drinking purified water, you want to be having this stuff, because this has all your trace elements. It's got, I believe, 74 elements in it that your body needs for vital life, and it's going to help with energy, recovery, performance, focus. I mean, it's just going to make you feel good, and I love this stuff. I mean, I noticed a huge difference in my own body when I started adding this to my daily regimen. And besides that, we also use Redmond's Real Salt, because this has 60 something of the minerals and elements, and it's clean, it's pure, it comes from an underground ancient sea before the earth was polluted, and so it's got pure good salt. It's not your average table salt, because that's just bleached sodium chloride, and that's basically poison. So I recommend you stop using table salt and get some Redmond's Real Salt. Put this on your food, and you can put it in your water. It just takes a pinch to put it in your water. I personally put several teaspoons in my water now, because if I don't have enough salt in my water, it just tastes kind of gross to me. I've gotten so used to the saltiness that I just love it. And yeah, so Redmond's Real Salt, that's another good way to remineralize your water, your RO water. And another thing I want to mention really quick is that when your water goes through a process like filtration, or even running through tap water pipes with 90-degree angles, that's something that it's not used to. It's used to being in nature and flowing over rocks and flowing in curves and things like that. You're basically destroying the natural structure of the molecules and separating them into individual molecules. And so then it kind of becomes this chaotic mess of stuff. And so you want to actually restructure the water before you drink it, so that your body doesn't have to use any energy to restructure the water. And again, there's a lot of science to back this up that I'm not going to get into right now, because I want to keep this video short enough and just about the AquaTru. But if you're interested in learning more about structured water and how to restructure it, leave me a comment below and let me know, and maybe I'll make a video about that in the future. But we use the Somavedic to restructure our water and also harmonize the energy in our home. And what we do is we just keep our glass bottles next to it. And I don't know if you can see it over here. This little green thing, that's our Somavedic. And we basically just call it nature's Wi-Fi router. So that's basically what it's doing. It's broadcasting the frequencies of nature. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how much does this thing cost? And what about that 10% off discount code you promised? Well, so the AquaTru unit, again, it comes with a year's supply of filters. It comes in at $449, which is a great price, if you ask me. This was one of the best investments I've made for my family, and it should last years if you take care of it properly and make sure that you keeping it cleaned, maintained. And if you do have very hard water and you notice that the pump starts taking longer than 20 minutes to filter, you're going to want to use a descaling solution, and I've got a video coming out soon about that. So stay tuned for that, as I'm going to show you guys how to descale this, because we've had to do it recently. And basically that just dissolves and removes all the hard water deposits that build up inside the filter, inside the pump. And it just makes sure that the water is flowing as smooth as possible and the pump is not having to work harder than it should, which would cause, extra wear and tear, cause it to wear out and break faster. So we have partnered with Water and Wellness to give you a exclusive 10% discount when you buy the AquaTru, and you can use the link below that's in our description. And if you go here, you'll see that we also put together some exclusive bundles with our other favorite products, including Ketone marine plasma, and some hydrogen tablets that I love to use every once in a while, that especially for like a pre or post workout. Adding hydrogen to your water just gives you a great antioxidant boost and energy boost, and just kind of helps you feel really good. So that's something that I love, and I threw that. We have that available as well. And with those, and like with some of those bundles, you can save more than 10% because you're actually going to get a free filter pack, which is about an $80 value. So that's a great, saving a lot more already there. So go check it out on our website. Use the link below in our description and save yourself some money and get some purified water. But that's it for this video. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit the like button and smash that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. For now, I'm just gonna go drink some pure salty water. Feel hydrated. So good.